Hi. Hi, Stu.
Hi, how are you?
See you. I'm
Good to
trying
see
to.
you.
Oh, here it is. Greetings, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, all.
Hiya.
Sorry, our
Peter,
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Peter.
Hello.
Hiya.
Oh, sorry, everybody. Hi, everyone. Welcome, and welcome to our presenter, Barry. Great to see you.
Hiya, Ines.
I'm just admitting people in the waiting room. So,
Your face or too low.
good morning, Bruce.
Hi, guys.
all right, everyone. Well, it looks like we have a stable number for now. I'm sure we'll have a few more joiners later on. So, welcome, everyone. Great to be with you and to share this call together. And welcome to Barry, our presenter. Oops, there's more waiting room people. So we traditionally start our PySlap community calls with sort of a go round where everybody just kind of introduces themselves and we just talk about where we are physically at the moment and just where we are in time and space. So just a little way of connecting with each other. And also, if you're not on our list, please feel free to add your name and email to the chat and we can add you for the future. But great to have everybody. And Peter Gable usually leads this portion of the call. So I'll turn it over to Peter.
Greetings. Let me start by just saying for anybody who's new, who's here, that our group PySlap, the Project for Integrating Spirituality, Law, and Politics, aspires to a world in which human beings can connect deeply with one another, can affirm the bond between us, and to creating a legal culture that fosters that mutuality of presence and care for one another in a way the opposite of the legal system we currently have, which fosters adversarial assertion of rights claims and really increases social conflict more than heals it. And so we understand ourselves as the next paradigm coming into existence. The last one's been in place for hundreds of years. It's had some virtues, and we're trying to go beyond that. Okay, so I'll just start by saying I'm Peter Gable. I'm in San Francisco. I'm looking at a poster of myself presenting an award to Jesus Alou of the San Francisco Giants when I was 20 years old for being better than his other brothers in August of 1967. Stu Webb, you're next.
All right, Stu Webb from Minnesota. I've been a longtime member of PySlap, and I support greatly the shift that's going on in the world, and that we're part of that.
And Duncan Holloman. Thank you, Stu.
Yes, so I'm Duncan Holloman. I'm in Cambridge, Massachusetts. I am a recovering lawyer and a psychotherapist and organizational consultant kind of guy. And I would say I am celebrating the beginnings of spring.
Oh,
It is
oh, great.
50s out there and sunny.
Okay, thank you, Duncan. I'll come back to you, Barry, since you're speaking to us. Kara McCarthy Perry.
Here. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much. Last time I was driving, this time I'm more present for the presentation. I am in New Jersey in my living room, and it's beautiful. Yes, enjoying the beginning of spring, or around the corner, hopefully. So it's a gorgeous day. I left my corporate law career in September of this year. After almost 22 years, I'm a certified yoga meditation teacher and am taking the certification, the conscious contracts introductory course with Kim Wright, and am embarking in April on the certification course. So I'm just thrilled to find this community.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Great. Yue Ang.
Hello, my name is Yue and I'm from Oxford and I teach corporate law and currently an emotional punching bag for my students, and it's very rewarding.
Okay, thank you, Yue. Bernadette Flanagan.
Hello, I'm from Dublin, Ireland, as Barry is, but we're meeting in this strange virtual world for the first time. I run an MA in Applied Spirituality in Ireland for 20 years for the professions. So it's social workers, policing, architects, all kinds of diverse people, very much part of the turn that you're talking about, Peter. Looking for it. So we run it through an Institute of Technology in Ireland. So we have had limited law people on the program. So I was just interested in the work that you're doing. They tend to come more from health, social work, nursing, those kind of areas.
Mm-hmm. Great, welcome. So glad to have you. Elaine Quinn. You're still muted. Yeah, there you go.
Hi everyone. Thanks, Peter. Sorry, I'm in the dark a little bit here. I keep meaning to change my lighting every Zoom call I have. I'm Elaine Quinn. I'm also in Ireland, in County Longford. Bernadette and Barry will know where that is, in the middle of Ireland. And so I suppose my connection to PieSlap is as editor of the Conscious Lawyer magazine for the last few years, and did a great issue with PieSlap there recently, which Barry then contributed to. So it's wonderful to be here and hearing more about Barry's work. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Good to see you, Elaine. Ken Haldenstein.
Hello, I'm currently in Sarasota, Florida for most of the winter, but I otherwise reside in White Plains, New York. I'm a recently retired civil litigation lawyer with a long-standing interest in many and all the issues from PieSlap. So it's good to be here and appreciate this time with everyone. I do have to leave at 1:45, and I regret that. So I'll look to see if I can get a video so that I can see everything I missed after 1:45.
Okay, good to see you, Ken. Have Bruce Peterson.
I'm Bruce Peterson. I'm a retired judge in Minneapolis, a longtime PieSlap member. I guess I should just say Stu knows this. We're all preoccupied here with the Derek Chauvin trial.
Mm-hmm.
The courthouse is surrounded by high fences and there's armored personnel carriers down there. It's really quite a tense city right now.
Wow. Thank you, Bruce. Una Tapper.
I'm Una Tapper. I am a retired lawyer. I live in Suffolk County, New York. And I think this group is really answering so many of the questions that I have. I really appreciate your contribution.
Thank you very much, Una, and for joining us. Robin Morris.
Hi, I'm Robin. I'm currently in Oakland, California, but I grew up in Central Connecticut. I used to work in aviation finance and like securities law for about 5 years. And then I quit that to learn about earthships and off-grid building and to travel, and then found myself in Oakland. Now I'm doing e-discovery and learning how to tap dance.
Great. Thank you, Robin. Lee Stallings.
Hi, everybody. I'm Lee. I am currently sort of taking a pandemic sabbatical from practicing law after, I've been licensed for over 35 years, but taking a little bit of break, and I'm celebrating the fact that I was just accepted into seminary.
Oh.
So I've just come to believe that I can do more in conflict resolution using spiritual tools in addition to legal tools.
Wonderful, Lee. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Ideen Byrne.
Hi, I'm brand new to this. I just saw Barry's post on LinkedIn, and it seemed like it would really be of interest to me. I'm Aideen Byrne. I work in the pro bono and clinical legal education department in Edinburgh Law School. I know Barry because he was very kind to come on to our Scotland-wide initiative called Pro Bono Skills. So he's helping with some mindfulness training for students there. Interestingly, my mother is Lorna Byrne, and she writes in the spiritual world. She's like an international author, and I created a book with her called My Guardian Angel, My Best Friend, just a few months ago. I also have a background in some political science research. So when I saw this, I just thought, maybe there's a lot in here that could be of interest to me. So thank you for letting me join, and I'm grateful to be here.
Great to have you. And if you like it, and this goes for everybody else on the call, please go to our website, spiritlawpolitics.org, and consider joining as an official member, because we need that. spiritlawpolitics.org. I'll put it in the chat line, or maybe Nanette will, one of us will. Okay, Alpita Shah. Hi.
Hi, thank you, Peter. So I am like Ken in Florida. I'm in Naples, Florida for another week. Been here for about a month, and then I normally reside in Chicago, Illinois. I am a partner at a small minority-based law firm, though I am on sabbatical, like I think it was Lee, for 6 months. So I have a couple more months. And like Kara, I am a certified yoga teacher. I'm also finishing up a 2-year training through UC California, Berkeley, Greater Good Science Center in mindfulness meditation. So I am considering how to integrate, sort of the spirit, law, and politics. I worked a lot on Senator Booker's campaign. So I'm trying to see how I can integrate that. And this group is wonderful. So thank you, Peter, for establishing it. And I enjoyed meeting some of you in 2018 at the conference in DC, and look forward to the future. Thank
Great. Good to see you. Me too. Look forward to that. Maeve Delargy. Are you there, Maeve? Can you hear me, Maeve? All right, I will come back to you then. And let's see if we can figure out what you can hear me, but I'm having trouble hearing you. So I'll come back to you after a couple more people. Negin Baradari. Negin, is that pronounced right? Negin Baradari?
Negin, yeah. Hi, my name is Negin. This is the first time I'm joining. Apologies, I don't have my camera on. I am on my phone and my camera is not working. So hopefully next time I can show my face. It's beautiful seeing everyone's faces, and me as well. I am doing the Conscious Contract certification alongside Kara with Kim Wright and Linda Alvarez. So I'm so happy and grateful to be seeing so many faces that are also fellow soul seekers. And I am a lawyer trained in the US and in the UK. I'm in London right now. I actually just left in December my role as a parliamentary counsel in Luxembourg. I became also a diplomat quite early on. I actually became the youngest diplomat for Luxembourg and actually internationally at the age of 25. And then I became a parliamentary council member quite early on as well. And I decided now to shift fully into integrated development. And also I'm a human design reader. Thank you.
Fantastic, Negin. Great to have you.
Thank you.
Bradley Roth.
Hi there. Nice to see everyone. And so I'm in New York City, in Manhattan, and I am trained as an attorney and mediator and teach a course called Mediation and Meditation at John Jay College of Criminal Justice. And have been attending these PySlap meetings for, I guess, a couple of years now. So great to be with everyone.
Great to have you. And thanks. Good to see you. Bonnie Silvestri.
Hi, everyone. It's so interesting. It's like unfolding an onion to learn a little bit more about everybody each month. I am a lawyer connected with Kim Wright. I used to do spirit law politics in person with Nanette when I lived in New York City. And I'm living in Sarasota, Florida. So I saw that Ken mentioned that he is, and I actually used to work in White Plains. I work in local government, and I also teach at the local university. And I made a documentary related to comparing maternity rights in the US and the UK. So it's nice to see so many UK individuals on the call. So maybe we'll be able to connect about that at some point, but I'm so excited for this talk today. Thank you.
Great. Good to see you, Bonnie. And I suspect that's Perry Zedman at 202, etc.
Your suspicion is correct. Thank you, Peter. And hello, everyone. I am Perry Sedman in a very noisy place, for which I apologize. I have been a member of PySlap for 25 odd years, and they've been very odd. But I love the organization. I want to underscore what Peter said about joining. I hear many, many new names on this call, and I urge you to visit our website and continue membership because, as Peter said, we could really use the help in supporting our mission. I've been in private practice for my entire career and practicing what I call design law. So currently I'm in Miami Beach, Florida. I'm a native of Washington, D.C., where I was born and raised. Thank you.
Thanks, Perry. And Maeve, can you make your voice heard?
You can't hear me still?
Yes, now I can. We can.
Oh, great. Okay, I've put in earphones, but sorry, no video. But lovely to be here. I'm an Irish fan of Barry's, and I similarly saw his post on LinkedIn and wasn't aware of your group before. So it's great to get the introduction to the group and to all these really fabulously interesting people, and very much looking forward to the talk. So thanks for having me.
Wonderful. Welcome. Has everyone spoken except Barry and Nanette, that is? All right, Nanette, I'll turn it back over to you and you can introduce yourself also.
Thank you so much, Peter, for leading that. Hi, everyone. I'm Nanette Shore. I live in New York City. I'm sitting at my kitchen table now, looking out on the East River of Manhattan. I work in a legal services, which is a program representing low-income people in New York City. And I've been part of PySlap since the very beginning. It's really delightful to see everyone. And thank you so much, Barry, for joining us, for bringing some of your colleagues and comrades along with you and introducing them to us. And look forward very much to your talk. So Barry, over to you.
Thanks, Nanette. Thanks, everyone. Yeah, I feel a little bit nervous, just do. So maybe like briefly a little bit about myself. I appreciate being here because I think doing this sort of work can feel a bit lonely. Certainly that would have been my experience, sort of like, yeah, they're in a small place like Ireland. So seeing a kind of bigger community really helps. So I'm very appreciative of what you've done here. I was a lawyer for 10 years, corporate law, and the last 5 years, I left 5 years ago, and I teach meditation, mindfulness, self-compassion as my work now. And I'm the chairperson for the Mindfulness Teachers Association in Ireland. I work with a group called Mindful Nation Ireland as well. We've brought mindfulness courses to to Parliament in Ireland, and brought people over to speak. It's like good things when I look back on it, really. And then I also do work with law firms, because I didn't intend to. When I left, I was like, oh, I wanted to just do something else. But I you know, like all you guys, I'm sure can appreciate, you can relate to people when you've lived a bit of their life. So I've done a lot of that over the last 5 years as well. And then my favorite work, although I don't get to do as much of it as I would like, is the work with nature in mind, and what I'm going to talk about today. And it's just the fact that there isn't the same level of demand for it. You know, when you speak about going out and cultivating a deeper connection with the natural world, that is less appealing to most organizations or law firms than like, oh, improve productivity and like manage stress and all those things. And so this is my favorite part. And I don't have this incredibly structured talk organized. I wish I did. I wish I knew it'd be like, these are the 4 bits. But what I'm thinking I'll do is just describe how the idea for the article I wrote came about, and then I might link it into, you know, the practice of law. I thank Elaine and Peter for help with that as well. They helped me with that article I wrote for The Conscious Lawyer. And then I might explain a little bit about what those workshops are, connecting to care workshops. That sound okay? So the article came about. There's like a really ordinary kind of piece of land outside this window. It's getting dark, I can't really show you. But I live in an apartment complex, and there's like limited grounds, but there's a kind of strip of grass and maybe 5 or 6 trees. And it's nice, just it's ordinary. and no one goes there, because you have to kind of go out the back. No one uses it at all. And a few years ago, we got a dog. And so the dog needed to be outside. So I would go outside in that space with my dog. And especially in the summer, it's kind of nice, be a kind of shade under the trees. And I spent loads of time there. And I was the only one. And yeah, I've gotten to know it. And a few years ago as well, I did some training in organic horticulture, because I'm just interested in that. And I learned about harmful herbicides and pesticides. And my feeling, like after that, is I just don't like to see it, but I see a lot of it around. So even when I'd be walking down to the shops, or if I'm working in the allotment that I'm kind of I'm in, I see people spraying all the time, and I sort of feel this, would have felt this like disappointment or a bit of judgment, you know, I wish you didn't do that, or like a bit of irritation maybe, or sadness. But I never really did anything. It wouldn't go beyond that. I might give them a look, you know, to show them I disapprove of what you're doing. Maybe it would be that. And then one day I was in my sitting room here, and I'm at the back, and we have like, there's 50 people live in this complex, and so we have pay a gardener to just mow the lawn and stuff. And I saw him outside wearing one of those like white suits to protect himself and a mask, and he had his backpack on, and he was just spraying everywhere. And I saw this, and it was like just a moment of anger. I was like, what do you think you're doing? And I found myself outside, and I was speaking to him, and he's not a villain. He's like a lovely person. He's just doing his job. And I was like, what is this? And he's spraying Roundup, and he said, oh, you know, we can't have weeds here, so we want to spray the place. And it just it struck me, you know, he can't even like ingest or can't come into contact with these chemicals himself, but he's spraying them everywhere. And I know the harm they do. And so we sort of left it there. I kind of said, oh, are there like organic alternatives? And he was like, well, I don't think they're as effective, maybe true. But I didn't leave it just there. And this doesn't make me, I realize how tiny this is as an example. It's not Erin Brockovich or anything, it's minuscule, but this is the truth of where the kind of feeling came from. And I could just put a petition up in the apartment block, and I said, look, I don't like this. And does anyone feel the same as me? Like, I don't think we need to be, who cares if there's some dandelions out the back? And then a few other people signed this as well. And then I was like, well, I don't want this to happen. So I put myself forward to be on our management committee. And then we made this decision, from now on, we won't spray around this, like these grounds. So it's tiny. I know it's very small, like this drop in the ocean thing. But something in that moment moved me to do something. And I didn't do anything before. I'd see it and I'd disapprove, and I'd not like it, and I might roll my eyes or something, but I didn't kind of make a stand or kind of do it. And I know it's because I got to know that place. I spent like hours and hours out there sitting under a tree, not a like big tree, just ordinary. But I kind of knew the kind of birds that kind of lived around there, and I knew this place very well. And like a few shrubs and a few bees and things, and I cared about it. It was my place, and that kind of moved me to make a stand. And I kind of made this link. I was like, yeah, this is because there's an emotional connection for me. This, for me at least, and I'm not saying everyone is the same, but for me, it was like really clear, when there's the emotional connection, then I'll do something. And I could see that in loads of other examples in my life as well. A similar kind of example came into my mind, where Bernadette and Aideen and Maeve and Elaine will know this place, Dalkey. It's where all the rich people live. And it's really beautiful. Like, there's lovely nature there, and it's a lovely bay. And a good few years ago, someone got a concession to drill for, or to explore for oil and gas in Dalkey. And this is where all the kind of big shot lawyers live. And there was like, no way is this happening. Like, this was my place. And everyone, like, that didn't happen. There's no way that they would allow them to drill for oil and gas. And everyone made a stand. And it was like, because we're protecting our little corner. But people don't really care when it's, you know, in the west of Ireland, and it's the same thing happening in an equally beautiful place, but we're kind of disconnected from the bigger whole, so we don't do anything. So that memory was in my mind as well. And then I also when I first learned about meditation, mindfulness, one of the books, I did this course. I was burnt out, newly qualified lawyer, and I did the course and I liked it. And the teacher was a lovely man, and he had this Sharon Salzberg book, The Love and Kindness and the Art of Happiness. So it's a small book, and I read this book, and one of the suggestions that Sharon Salzberg had in it was like, every time, just to give, not to hold back. When there's even an inclination to do something, to give money to a homeless person, that you don't hesitate. You just go, oh, the inclination is there, give. So I started doing this, and I realized that it was the same man. When I used to get the Lewis into work, there was same guy would be set up under Charlemont Bridge in Dublin, and I got to know him. We didn't have any long chats or anything, but like every day I would see this same guy and be like, oh, hello, and we were friendly. I would give him some euros, and then like we kind of I felt a warmth towards him. at least some kind of feeling of connection. And I could see how it can spread as well. So if I really connect with one person who's a little bit different to me, it sort of, for me, it felt like it could open up, and I would see the humanity in other homeless people around town, where before I would just, you know, walk by. So I could see how this was a bit contagious, and I imagined it being the same with nature and with place. So if I really get to know this place, start small, how it can sort of naturally open up a bit. So that was the kind of where the article originally came from. And then with Elaine, I was chatting about doing something for the Conscious Lawyer, and the kind of story, or the true story that like really resonated with me was that man Robert Billiot. Do you know of him? There's a film, Dark Waters. He's I don't know him personally now, but he's in Ohio, and he like took some incredibly courageous stand, quite a young man, and he stood up against DuPont because of the chemicals they were producing, and they were, you know, hiding this from people, and yeah, he risked and sacrificed so much. And I saw the film, and I also read the book, and it was sort of similar. I think I'd love to chat to him actually, but sort of similar for him. He worked he was defending polluters. That was his work, and he was approached by a farmer who knew his grandmother, and he had spent a lot of time in this place with his grandmother, and he sort of, there was that connection. I think it's when we're young and we're curious, and that's when I think we really get to know a place. When we're adults, we're in more of a rush, we're less curious. But you know, he like learned to ride a horse there, and like he loved that place. And if it wasn't that place, and if it wasn't, you know, this connection with his grandmother, I'm pretty sure he would have said, "Oh, look, I'm really sorry, but I can't help you right now." But there was a connection, and then he found himself meeting this farmer and seeing the scene with his own eyes, and he didn't like it. And something in him, I don't think he envisaged that he would end up, you know, making this gigantic stand over many, many years. But something in him, you know, it was, I believe that same, it touched his heart. And probably the same feeling I had, where it's like, no, this isn't right. And it goes beyond disapproval or going, oh, isn't it such a pity, you know, that what DuPont are doing. There's a responsibility, I think, when you have a connection with the place. And then, so yeah, he did this. And I know how hard it is. I'm in awe of people who do that, because I never did that. And I worked as a lawyer for 10 years. And I remember vividly, there's one client, obviously I'm going to name specific people or anything because that won't end well. But yeah, one client was oil and gas and all these things, and was was very aggressive with fracking and, you know, what they wanted to do. And they were my client. I wasn't the kind of lead attorney or anything, but I was just there in the kind of mix. And they would be, you know, so like dismissive of greenies, who anyone who kind of thought this was a bad idea or who cared about the environment was a fool. And I was one of those people, but I just stayed quiet. I was like, oh yeah. And I think there's lots of that. I'm amazed by people who make a stand in those situations. And I'd love to know what your experience is. But when I was in law school, it was never on the radar at all, you know, ethics in any meaningful way, or or encouraging people to be courageous, and it was more like we were funneled into like a really good, safe, well-paid job. That's like, and yeah, maybe Aideen, helped that your mum is like a spiritual teacher and she's might have like steered you in a direction, but yeah, for me it was just climb this ladder, and then yeah, so that's where it came from. That's what I write about. Maybe to just briefly tell you about the workshops then. So I keep it really simple, and I would love to do more of them. But yeah, it takes like a certain openness for people to want to engage with that. I sort of take this long view. I know when I went back, and if I looked at myself when I was 25, and if someone said, Barry, would you like to, think about someone other than yourself and start doing good in the world and blah, blah, blah. I wouldn't really. I sort of like, so I think it's like just little steps, even anything that might raise a person's consciousness, it helps. And it's sort of gradual and little by little. And then when someone's ready or when it's ripe, they might be interested in something like this. What I do is a mindfulness-based approach. So like even we go to parks that are kind of around Dublin. One I've gone to a few times is a place called the Ivy Gardens. And they're kind of people who work in these offices around here, and they have initiatives in the office, which would be, good things like energy saving stuff, and we'll use peas instead of avocados for our like avocado on toast because they're less harsh on the environment. All these kind of good initiatives. But it's amazing when like these people who live here and work here, and that they come to this park, which is just across the road, and it's beautiful. They don't know the place, and they've never really like slowed down and paid attention and really connected with this place. It feels funny to them when they do it. I use the senses as the sort of the gateway. So when we're young, sort of all know the way kids are, and they'll just pick up leaves and they'll like be touching things and interested in everything, and they will naturally wander off the path. And instead, when we're adults, we're on the path in the park, maybe just doing laps of it. I know this myself from my own life, and like looking at my phone every so often or planning for what's next, and I'm not really here. So it's not like I do an awful lot. I kind of draw on kind of forest therapy work, Joanna Macy's work, mindfulness-based approach. I thought what we might do is a little like reflection, if you'd care to do that. You don't have to, obviously. You can just close your eyes. I'll be none the wiser if you don't engage with it at all. But yeah, just to see if somewhere comes up for you, we could just pause for a moment and remember that we're sitting here. You might like to close your eyes. Every time when I kind of slow down like this, I notice a lot of energy in the body or tension in the body. I'm a bit excited, so we can maybe allow a little bit of space for it to settle. And even right now, just knowing that we're breathing. So with this, I think it's important not to try hard. You can just be open and see what comes up for you. I wonder, is there a place in nature that you really love. It could be somewhere really special or really ordinary. Place that you've gotten to know quite well over the years. It might be a place where you spent some time as a child. For me, it's a rock pool in Cork. And sometimes, you can have the memory of, oh yeah, that's the place. And if we really connect with the senses, it can become richer. So maybe any sounds that you associate with that place. Breeze moving through leaves, or the sound of water, or if there are other people there, it's the voices and the fun, the laughter maybe. And the sense of touch as well, as you remember this place. It's by the sea, the feeling of sand in your feet, grass, the touch of the breeze against your skin. Maybe there are smells you associate with this place. Just taking your time and not needing to rush. And all the little details, what you see. What you remember. How it feels right now, maybe as you recall this place. What expression is on your face? And this might be difficult to imagine, but imagine now that someone is threatening this place or wants to ruin it, and they don't care. How does that feel? Is there some anger, some sadness? Do you feel like saying, no, stop? Is there a sense of care maybe? Yeah, I think that might be enough for me to say, and could open it up a little to what you guys think. It's only one part of it, I know, but I think it's an important part. It's like emotional connection between people and place. Yeah. Hey, Bonnie.
Yes, I was thinking about my backyard, and I thought about the time that we rented our house out. It's a very magical backyard with trees that are maybe 15 or 20 feet tall, and it has a creek. And I was thinking about when we had rented it out when we went to the UK, and we came back and the people hadn't taken good care of it. And I bumped my head on the tree, and I thought, we have to come back. I was just like, there's this huge tree in my backyard. This is amazing. So we moved back into the house, and just the idea that the people didn't take good care of it while we left it out to rent kind of made me think exactly of what you had said.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Bonnie.
And if,
It's something I experienced actually, going back to a place that came up for me is a rock pool in the beach in Cork. It's in the west of Ireland. And, you know, because I was young when I was there, I was in the rock pools, you know. As an adult, I might be just like, oh, that's a nice rock pool. But I was like in the thing, like with my hands, like finding crabs and stuff. And I went back there, and this is just, again, this shows what's going on. And this is the west of Ireland. This particular beach, this particular rock pool is dead, actually. There's periwinkles and seaweed, but there isn't life there the way I remember it. Maybe my memory is faulty, but I don't think so. I used to find loads of stuff in those rock pools. And I wonder, do younger people even engage in the world in the same way that we would have done? Are they out kind of, you know, in rock pools as much? Yeah, Duncan, please feel free to unmute and speak, anyone.
So actually, Cara was ahead of me. She had her hand up. So
sorry.
I'm wondering, if,
Oh,
Cara, you
no,
still
that's-
want to talk?
Peter
that's
too.
okay. I can go after you, Duncan.
Okay.
Sorry, Cara, I didn't see you.
No, that's
Barry,
okay. I did the.
I just want to say I so appreciate the shift from the abstract to the personal, from the ideological to the intimate. That I think there's so much emphasis on social justice as a concept, right, as a principle. And what you're inviting us to do is to be so much more intimate and personal, like what actually touches my heart, which are the places that matter to me, which is not abstract at all, right? It's very, very personal. So I just want to express my appreciation about that.
Oh, thanks, Duncan. Yeah, that's exactly. And it's not to say that the abstract isn't important either, but it's just, another lens is the personal. Cara, do you want to say something too? And Peter did.
No, I thank you so much for your talk and for that practice. What came up for me was we have a family place in Vermont that my father grew up on, and his father, it's been the family for years. And, you know, I think similar to what Duncan said, the personal connection of, and even just doing, I mean, I do a lot of meditation, but doing the the mindfulness and that kind of meditation to a place was a real interesting shift for me, similar to what Duncan said, to making that personal. And I really appreciated that. I think that really, I just did a talk to students about meditation, really just my experience. And for me, what happened was the pandemic came and it was a pause. I see mindfulness and meditation like that, like a pause. And being able to take that time, like you were saying, everybody's so rushed, even if people are kind of into like healthy food or, you know, so rushed that like they can't go outside. Like that was just me. My whole life was just so rushed, like, to get conscious. But to take that out into the environment is such a great thing to think about. And I think also during the pandemic with a pause, it helped. I know that I took walks a lot more than I did, right? Getting back in touch with that. And the animals kind of looked at us like, what are you people doing outside? Like they started coming back. So it's sort of that pause, that appreciation that allows that to manifest. That was great. So thank you.
Yeah. And we were quite restricted here in Ireland as well, like to 5 kilometer radius.
If you couldn't go far.
It forced us to really like get to know this ordinary place. Yeah. Thanks, Cara. Hey, Peter.
I mean, one of the dilemmas in what we are trying to convey as a group, be part of, is that the the recovery of the spiritual dimension, just as Duncan was saying, it requires the groundedness and suppleness and open-heartedness that you're trying to model, you might say. And law school and the legal profession is so much the opposite of that, because it's you could argue this and you could argue that, and the entire arena of discourse and vibration is despiritualized. And so it's to recover this relationship to, well, your emphasis is on nature, and certainly the environmental movement. It would be very important if there were a way to link the sacredness of nature with the environmental movement, more than just the science and the CO2 emissions and the impending catastrophe. All of that discourse keeps everything at a very in a realm that doesn't reach this level of the loss of beauty that you felt with your backyard, or the loss of ordinary beauty is the way you put it. So, I mean, it's just, we did an exercise in PySlap once where we went through a case in which we sat around a room and we just went through we went through the facts very slowly. Just the recitation about it was actually involved a man drowning, and that the other person did not have a duty to rescue him. But the story, told slowly enough, evoked so much feeling that it influenced how one would have responded to the harm and the suffering that was embedded in it. In the normal teaching of it in law school, that's completely lost. A very brief statement of the facts: plaintiff fell into the hole, and what's the result? And so it's sort of recovering that. Like even in your work, it seems important to me to extend these workshops so that the workshops become a nucleus of recovery of the relationship, personal relationship to nature that everybody has in their heart. When you were leading your exercise, I had mine when the place where I grew up as a kid, and how, you know, I loved the feeling under my feet and the smell of really, in my case, was new mown lawns, But recovering that is just so important to our project, that dimension of
Yeah,
open-heartedness, I guess is the way I'd put it.
yeah. I really like what you're saying about slowing down too, and what Cara said about pausing. It's yeah. I think there's a like really nice lady who teaches meditation here in Dublin, and she works with younger children. And she asked them, what happens when you pause? And these are 5 and 6 year olds, and they go, oh, when I pause, the birds start singing. So it's just it lights it up, like it's, oh, this is here, the good, the sorrow, and the joy, and yeah. And I also like that, you know, it's not just confined to the environmental movement at all. It's just everything, relationships, people, yeah.
Barry, your story of the your connection with the homeless man that you would meet every day. I mean, that also resonated with me. Just building that, even if it was unspoken, almost just that sense of care and just some kind of bond. It just makes all the difference in terms of moving a person. And I know for me, you know, with relationships I've built with clients and all. I mean, there's just, and I think the pandemic's been hard on that because it's been more distance, and there's just something about sitting together, eye to eye, sharing a moment, sharing a laugh about something, connecting on a human level that just is very, very motivating and moving and gives me more courage when I'm in that space of connection. So obviously that applies to nature as well, but I was thinking about it in the realm of human relationship too.
Yeah, yeah, and something possible and small as a start, and then it's like, I think it's, for me at least, so hard to think big at the beginning. I have to like start with something. Maybe that is just me. I have to start with like something I can like make sense of, and then open into something bigger. Just feels overwhelming when I see like, oh my God, look at the state of the place. Thank you, Nanette. No, I heard all of that.
Okay, great. Thanks.
I'll just offer a quick phrase that I use sometimes with my clients. I'll suggest to them that they inhabit, don't inhibit.
Lovely, Duncan.
I just wanted to say thank you too. That practice was so beautiful, and it took me to so many places in my life, connected me to so many beautiful places in nature that were important to me. But the other thing that came up for me during that meditation was the fact that, and hopefully this isn't true in Ireland, but here in the States, it's a part of white privilege, I think, because none of the places that are important to me have ever been threatened by environmental damage. And it just came up for me, and it's very sad that there is that connection.
Yeah, well, I've heard that, like, you know, if you were to pick a place in the world to be, I've heard this from friends of mine actually. If climate change, you know, goes the way we expect, Ireland is a good place to be. You know, and people say that and go, oh, well, like, we're okay. This is not going to be too bad here. You're totally right. Yeah. And there's like something that as well has come up for me there when you're speaking is there's lots of research around how beneficial it's both ways. Like being in nature is really good for us, and in wealthier places like the Dalkey example I had, it's lush, and in more impoverished areas, it's very few trees. Don't have the same access.
We had Maeve wanting to make oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just wanted to take one more personal privilege to say thank you for being here, because I'm still mourning the loss of John O'Donohue. And you just remind me so much of him. And I was listening to him this week, one of his last interviews, and he was so connected to nature and the environment. And I would just encourage everybody to Google him to get a little dose of the importance of remaining connected to nature.
I love John O'Donohue.
Thank you for your beautiful accent.
Well, I love John O'Donohue, but I am an ant. I feel very inadequate when you put me in the same boat as him. But thanks. Yeah.
So I think last would be Maeve, and then we should probably wrap up. So Maeve.
Hi, Maeve.
Maeve, are you able to hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, sorry, guys. No, that was lovely, and I really liked your example, Barry, of you know, the feeling you had, and for you it was connected to a natural thing and the environment, but the importance then of connecting to the feelings. And I was also struck by that, reading slowly through the facts and how that could influence everyone's attitude then to the case, and also that notion of the spirituality. And I think if we forget about the feelings and the spirituality of things, we do so at our peril. Because I'll just give it an example, that I was at a conference on environmental matters, and in Ireland they tried to bring in a charge for water so that we would pay maybe by the amount we used, or there'd be, you know, a flat rate and then over that. But it had a really big pushback from the public. And I think it was because the people who were rolling it out, and this was point was made by someone at the conference, something new I hadn't heard, was that in Ireland, and I'm sure in lots of places, water has such a spiritual connection. It's used in sacraments, and it's, you know, to then forget, that's what really hurt, putting a charge on that. And if it had been done in a way that took account of that, it may have been more successful, and then, you know, the money could be used to have cleaner water for everyone. So I thought that was an example of don't forget about the feelings. And so thanks, Barry, for bringing us back to that.
Oh, thanks, Maeve. Hopefully see you soon. Yeah, thank you, Nanette and Peter, for having me, and all the other PySlot members. Hope
Thank you
everyone
so
who
much,
isn't,
Barry.
hopefully everyone who isn't a member will join now.
Thanks so much, Barry. It was wonderful to spend this time with you and to attune to the matters that you were bringing our attention to. Really appreciate it.
Thanks.
And thanks everyone for joining us.
And may I say, before you say goodbye, remind people the spiritlawpolitics.org site, and once again encourage you to join. We will also post your story, you know, of your work to draw people's attention to what you're trying to make happen in the world. So you're become part of a valuable community that way. It's a small community, but a valuable one. Okay, Nanette.
Okay. All right, everyone. Be well. And
We
we
have
don't
an
have our
April
next.
call?
No, we actually don't have a date yet, but we will be back in touch by the listserv with the next call. Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Barry.
Bye.
Take care.
Thank you, Barry.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
everyone.
Barry.
Bye.
Bye.
Mind yourselves.
Bye.
Thanks, Barry. Bye.
Bye. See you, Elaine.
I think it's better for Yoga Chicago. This creates like crazy, like aliveness, like a jungle. This creates. This is beautiful. Is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance. That's exactly what I am. Good. I kind of like this. Chase freedom. This is actually pretty good. Because in May, so money I would consider. Right. Chase ultimate freedom. I need another 25,000 because I'm going to pay off my credit card. I'm going to pay off my credit card. I'm going to pay off my credit card. Right? You're going to pay off your credit card. Done. We're going to have this new credit card. So you can't really transfer balances, but you can pay off your Citibank card. Okay, I need to switch. Right. It's not quite. It's probably 16. Once you're done with this, it'll be, I would say, yeah. And we did coffee, black coffee, almond milk, and I searched for more meaningful work, my certification, which will be done soon. You're down to 3. Work that matters. I can have an apple. Right, February 7th. 129, 129.4, 129.8, 128, 130, 129, 130, 128, 128, 130. Okay. 131. 128 to 130. 127, 127, 127, 26, 126. So we're going from 126 to 128 now. We were going from 128 to 130. So soon we can go from 124 to 126 and then 122 to 124. You really need to like keep going down, keep going down. Okay. All right, let's go. And let's go print my Geico card. If we go to Geico. I've got to pay that off. until October at least. I'm going to pay this off and then go to this one. Expires 5/17, so 5/17. Let's just stay with Citibank.
When am I going to exercise? I would do Weight Watchers app classes and walk. How far is it to walk to the library? Okay. I thought Cara was here. So she's like 1998, and at 3 years, she's like 47. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I wanted to walk there. That's a 15-minute walk. That's actually pretty good.